Brad, first off, what's the latest with Jalen?
Progressing, not practicing today. Don't know anything beyond that.
Much more encouraging was, when you had a chance to look at it, was the film. I know you've been leery about making too much of one good game here throughout the season because it's been a game forward, a game back. But how much did you gain out of that in terms of, okay, this is a lot of the things that we wanted to do?
I think we've had a couple of games where we've played like that, where it's been more of a, we weren't perfect for 48 minutes, but it's been more of a 48-minute performance. But just what you said is we're not really looking for snippets here and there. We're looking more for can we back it up with continued good play. I do think as I look back upon the trip, we probably played better in the Dallas game than we felt. We had some haphazard offensive possessions that I thought hurt us, and those guys really played with great energy and made shots on Dallas' side. And so we played better this trip, but obviously still have a ways to go.
With the two changes you made in the starting line, considering the results, is that something you're going to stick
What are the
with?
two?
Marcus and Marcus?
Yeah, so I think that obviously we'll take all of that into account. But the way that we played the other night certainly was encouraging. As I said on the radio earlier, the problem with starting Marcus Smart is he can't bring his energy off the bench, right? So he's a valuable guy in both of those areas for the same reason. And that is he does all the intangible stuff that you need to have success. So we're going to need, we're just going to need to play better as a team. And again, hopefully we can build off this trip.
How important is it with his intensity to just sort of set that defensive tone from the start?
Well, I mean, he's always been great with that. Again, it's super important to our team when he's in the game on what he brings to the table from an intangible standpoint. In the past, that's really aided us at the 6-minute mark of a game or of a first quarter. But clearly it aided us the other night to start. And so, we'll see how it goes from here.
Right. How important are deflections to you as a staff?
Hand activity is really important. We do more of the visual of hands than we do necessarily charting deflections and all that stuff. Find stats anywhere you want to nowadays. It's more important that we're playing with the right hand activity, where our hands are, in pick and rolls, where our hands are in DHOs, etc.
Has Marcus Morris been your most consistent player since the start of the season?
Yes.
About 3 days now to kind of regroup without a game. What is the focus heading into today?
Today will be all on us, and things that we think we need to do to improve. A lot of it, as we've talked about, is we need to be just more consistent. But I think there are subtle things that we can do better, and we'll continue to work on those, and we'll focus on us. Today will be a pretty good, solid, competitive practice. Probably one of the more longer or more live practices that you'll have during the course of a regular season.
What does Gordon kind of evolve into more of a playmaker for you guys as opposed to his role in previous stuff?
Well, he's always been a playmaker. I think that's something that has always been something that he can do. He just knows the game, and so he makes the simple right read over and over. A little bit like Al from the standpoint, I don't think Al always gets the credit for just making the next right play. Gordon does a lot of that, especially with the ball in pick and rolls. I think that he's best when he's balancing that with better aggressiveness. But certainly we've run him in a lot of spots where he's been kind of the guy that reads, makes the decision, and then we go from there. As he gets more comfortable with everything we're doing, we'll see how that all pans out.
The aggressiveness that you just touched on, that's more just a work in progress with him.
Well, I mean, I think he's we don't want him to make a play that's not there. I think that, you know, sometimes the right play is to get a hockey assist that nobody ever talks about. And sometimes the right play is to drive it because they don't help and finish. You know, it's just you have to make it over and over and over. And, you know, I think that, you know, he'll get more comfortable as time goes on.
You mentioned today being a hard practice. You have a few of these longer breaks now. What can the value of these extended stretches be at this point in the season in particular?
Well, I just think anytime you get a chance to work on anything for more than just a walkthrough or a film session in a hotel room, I think that those are positives. You know, I guess the positive that I took away from, you know, getting ready for today's practice was watching a couple of our preseason games. We really stunk then. So we've gotten a lot better, but we've just got to keep building and growing.
Gordon, his numbers in the second unit have been really good. What kind of works for him with that unit?
We're running a lot of calls for that group that are, you know, where he's got, again, maybe off of a live dribble playing and pick and rolls to make the next play for somebody else. You know, again, I think that that's something that we've looked at. That was harder to balance with the first group at the start of the year, just because there's, you know, a lot of guys that are used to playing with the ball. And so we're trying to figure all that out. I don't think, you know, it's like I said yesterday, I don't think that necessarily because we played, you know, a solid trip or one good game that we should act like we have.